Hello and welcome. Are you ready to dive into something truly amazing? Today, we're talking about the simple, everyday habits you can build during pregnancy that can have a huge, lifelong impact on your baby's brain. Let's get started. First, let's start with a number that is just mind-blowing. Every single second, your baby is forming over 1 million new connections in their brain. 1 million per second. That's not just growth, that's like building an entire universe of thought and feeling from scratch. It really shows you just how critical this time is.
So, to wrap our heads around all this, we've broken it down into 4 main parts. First, we'll look at your inner world. Then, we'll talk about the literal building blocks for the brain. After that, we'll explore how you can connect with your baby before they're even born. And finally, we'll reveal the one thing that underpins it all.
Okay, let's jump into section 1. Your inner environment. You know, before your baby even meets the world, their very first home is you. And creating a calm, active mental space is like laying the perfect foundation for their developing brain. You know, there's a real chemical connection between your feelings and your baby's growth. When you feel stressed, your body pumps out a hormone called cortisol. Now, in high doses, this can actually put the brakes on your baby's brain development. But on the flip side, when you feel calm, you create this wonderfully stable hormonal environment. It's the absolute best setting for growth. So the big question is, how do we find that calm? Well, here's a super simple but incredibly powerful tool. A little morning deep breathing routine. Just breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 2, and then breathe out slowly for 6. Doing this for just 5 minutes a day boosts oxygen flow, and that oxygen is pure rocket fuel for your baby's growing brain. It's honestly the easiest habit you can start tomorrow morning. And let's talk about sleep for a second. We really need to stop thinking of it as a luxury. It's not. It's a full-on brain-building activity. When you're in deep sleep, those neural connections are multiplying like crazy. So you've got to make it a priority. Maybe try putting your phone away an hour before bed or grabbing one of those comfy pregnancy pillows. Seriously, think of it as your baby's nightly construction session. Now, here's a really cool, indirect connection. When you keep your own mind buzzing, whether you're reading a book, tackling a puzzle, or listening to a fascinating podcast, you're actually creating a more stimulating environment for your baby. It's simple, really. A happy, engaged parent helps create a thriving space for their little one. Okay, let's move on to section 2. Now we're talking about fueling brain construction, the actual physical stuff your baby needs to build that brilliant mind.
What you eat is so important, and breakfast is king. It really sets the tone for your baby's brain for the rest of the day. So please don't skip it. Foods like these are absolute powerhouses. You've got eggs, which are packed with choline, avocado for those healthy fats, and oats for a nice, steady energy release. It doesn't have to be complicated, just intentional.
Let's zoom in on that one nutrient I mentioned, choline. You can think of it as the master architect for your baby's brain cells. It's this crucial nutrient that helps build the very structure of the brain, especially the parts responsible for memory. So next time you have eggs for breakfast, just know you're supplying the materials for some very important architectural work going on in there. And choline doesn't work alone. It's got a whole support crew. There's folate, also known as folic acid, which is absolutely essential. You can find it in things like spinach and lentils. Iron is another major player. And then you've got antioxidants, which are like the brain's personal bodyguards. Just think, the more colorful the fruits and veggies, the better. Here's something so simple that we all tend to forget about. Water. Your body is mostly water, and every single sip you take is part of this amazing delivery system that carries all those nutrients, hormones, and oxygen straight to your baby. So do yourself a favor and keep a water bottle with you all the time. And you know what else gets those nutrients moving? You moving! Just 20 to 30 minutes of some gentle exercise, we're talking a nice walk or some prenatal yoga, gets your blood circulating better. And better circulation means a more efficient delivery of all that good stuff right to your baby's brain. Of course, always have a quick chat with your doctor first. All right, on to section 3, forging early connections. This is where things get really magical. We're moving beyond just the physical and into the world of actually communicating with your baby long before you ever get to meet them.
Believe it or not, starting around the 2nd trimester, your baby can hear and recognize your voice. So talking to them isn't silly at all. It's science. Just narrate your day. Good morning in there. I'm making us some breakfast. It's not about the specific words, it's the rhythm of your voice, that emotional bond, that's stimulating their developing language pathways.
And that same idea is why reading aloud is so powerful. As you read, your baby is learning the unique sound and cadence of your voice. We actually know that newborns can recognize stories and rhythms they heard while they were in the womb. This is memory building and bonding in its earliest form. How cool is that?
Soft, relaxing music can also be wonderful. Things like classical music or gentle lullabies can activate different parts of the developing brain. But it's a good idea to steer clear of anything too loud or harsh, because that can be a little overwhelming for their tiny, delicate hearing.
Now, let's talk about the very first language your baby ever understands, the first sense that even develops, and that is touch. It's your most direct and primal way to communicate.
When you gently rub your belly, you're doing so much more than just soothing yourself. You're actually lighting up your baby's sensory pathways. You're sending signals of love, of safety. Have you ever felt a little kick or wiggle right after you do it? That's them talking back. That's your first conversation. It's absolutely priceless.
And that brings us to our final section, the one that really ties everything else we've talked about together. This is the foundation of everything, the single most important factor for your baby's emotional and neurological growth.
So here it is, the number one habit, the principle that all the others are built on, is creating a positive environment. And this isn't just some fluffy, nice idea. It is the very soil from which your baby's emotional and neurological life will grow.
So what does that actually look like? Well, it's a home that feels peaceful. It's having a partner who is supportive and helps create that sense of calm with you. It's about you nurturing a hopeful, positive mindset for yourself. And it's about creating a joyful atmosphere. All of this becomes the emotional architecture for your baby's future.
And let's be really, really clear about something. This is not about being perfect. Nobody's perfect. You don't have to get everything right all the time. It's about being present. It's about being intentional. Every small, positive change you make, every quiet moment of calm you find, it all adds up to building a smarter, healthier, happier baby.
So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with this one question to think about. After everything we've talked about today, what is the one small change, the one little intentional thing that you're going to try to do today?